Lovely to be back here, nice friendly faces. So obviously it's been about 4 years since I've been here last, but I've still managed to get lost on the way down here today anyway, so nothing changes there, does it? So yeah, as I said, I'm the partnership manager for Wales within the Money and Pension Service. Hopefully, most of you in the room have heard of the Money and Pension Service. If not, I'll provide a bit more information about us today. Now, we were set up back in 2018. We're an arm's length body of the government. We're funded a bit differently. Obviously, we're funded through levies on the finance industry and your pension schemes. That's who they're there to fund us. We are there solely just basically to help people, making sure that everyone knows where to go to get that financial information, because financial literacy with all throughout the UK, it's very low. Surprisingly, when you look into it, it's very low. So the government set up Money and Pension Service because they want to improve financial literacy across all the nations. Our consumer offering to the public is Money Helper, Help o'r Arian, so I'll talk you through that later on as well. So essentially, you may have heard of these old organisations. So essentially, Money and Pension Service and Money Helper brought together these three well-known, trusted organisations: MaPS, the Money Advice Service; TPAS, as Gillian used to work for as well, on bits and pieces, didn't you? The Pensions Advisory Service and PensionWise. Bring them together under that one umbrella, under the Money and Pension Service. We are just there, literally just to help people, especially those most in need. I mentioned the financial literacy. We want to improve that across the region, across Wales, especially because we are underperforming against the other countries as well within the UK. So we want people to have that kind of a better understanding of what it means to plan for their future as well. The 5 core functions that we have got, obviously, within MaPS, within Money and Pension Service, is Money and Pension Service. So you can see pension guidance, that forms a lot of what we do. There's over 100 members of staff within the pensions guidance team alone. There's even there's a couple of ex-quantum staff within MaPS now as well. Money guidance, obviously, we are there to provide that a lot of information when someone's starting on the journey about where to go to get that kind of a bit of understanding about anything to do with money. We cover everything really from pocket money all the way to pensions and everything in between. Consumer protection, that's a big thing. We set up we've got this dedicated financial crimes and scams unit. So I was on that when it first set up back in 2021. We work closely with the government, with the FCA and other organisations, just to kind of help promote financial scams, what is out there, what to watch out for, people who have been scammed, what help they can get. And that's one thing, the AI genie, that's well and truly out of the bottle. It scares the police, it scares the FCA. So the more we can do to highlight the problems, what to watch out for, hopefully we can help protect people going forward. Debt advice, that's a key thing. People, think of your own staff. Would you know if they're struggling with debt? They're probably not going to be telling their employer, I've got this problem with unpaid bills. They're going to keep that quiet. They may tell their colleagues, but where do they go to get debt advice? Nobody should be paying for debt advice. It should be all free. Where do they go? So that's where in England and Wales, it's a bit different. So in England, Money Advice, the Money and Pension Service, we provide debt advice. It's a devolved issue across Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, but we can point people in the direction where to get good, free debt advice. And then strategy, we help organisations develop a financial well-being strategy, help them to see what can they do for their staff and then the wider area as well. So obviously we'll discuss about lles arian, what is financial well-being, what does it mean for you maybe as an employer. So our definition, we want people to make the most of their money, day to day, knowing what to do with their money, where to go for information, basically to be on track for a healthier future, to be resilient, to be confident, and then to empower them to make their own decisions, which are the best decisions for themselves. There's the next few slides, a lot of statistics there. Maybe all the actuaries in the room love a statistic. I know Stuart does there. I won't delve too much. The key message here, that we are seeing a lot more employees worrying about financial issues now. And I said, they're not going to tell their employers about those issues. So they're going to be worrying about them. They're negatively affected by those issues in their head as well. So where do they go for that information? And that's what we want to promote. signposting, where do they get that information? It's not a surprise that financial worries, it will lead on to mental health issues, because those are worrying about money, they're going to see their mental health it decrease as a result, and vice versa. Those already suffering from some sort of mental health issues, they are really the ones who we've seen are struggling with keeping up with bills, keeping up with their commitments as well. So where do they go? So again, helping those most in need in society as well. We've seen this statistic there, over 30 million worker days lost just because of financial worries. That's on top of any kind of, medical or other health issues people may have. So you can see the kind of the depth of the problem there. So is where do they go? So you as employers, what can you do to help maybe build a strategy to help your staff as well? Again, Wales, as I said, they're doing a bit worse compared, especially to England and the other devolved nations within the UK. You can see there only over half people are struggling with putting a plan together for retirement, or they're struggling managing the money. And the middle one there is scary. Over just under a third of people surveyed have got less than £300 in savings to pay for those unexpected bills. That hit up, for me personally, last winter, the few tiles in the roof blew off, plus the boiler broke down. That was an expensive winter. So it just shows the more resilient people can be, the more you can save, and we can help we work with credit unions and stuff to help get that saving mentality for the unexpected as well. So that's how, that's one of our kind of core functions. As I said there, our strategy, our 10-year strategy starting in 2020, we're but nearly halfway through now, which is scary. So we want more people, especially children and young people, and Wales are actually leading the way here. You may have seen in the news, the Welsh GCSE, obviously again, education is devolved within Wales. MaPS GCSE in Wales, they now from September 2025, next year, a third of the new maths curriculum in Wales will be solely into financial element to it. So we're leading the way there. Hopefully that in the future we're going to see these youngsters being much more resilient or knowing exactly what to do when it comes to money and planning for the future. We want more people saving, as you can see there, less people relying on credit and stuff like that to pay for necessities. We want more people to know where to get debt advice, and then pensions, future focus, planning for retirement. It is a key element that we want more people to know what to do, how to get help there as well. Now, there are a number of resources. What can you do? If you're an employer, what can you do? Now, everything I'm talking about today, all the resources at MaPS, it's all free. We're a public body, we don't charge for anything, it's not a sales pitch. Everything we do is totally free. There's a few resources. I've just brought a couple of, you can see on your desks there. As a first, there's a guide there. What kind of hints and tips, if you're looking for some sort of strategy to help your staff there, there's an employer's guide. I've just brought a few along with me. You can see there. It's a bit small there, isn't it? But we do videos. There's a wealth of information. Have a look. It's maps.org.uk. I've even done a podcast with Healthy Work in Wales just to show what resources are out there as well. So there's a wealth of information out there. My contact details will be there at the end, of course. But have a look at it. More information. If you need any more information, just get in touch with us, okay? I touched upon Money Helper or Helpwr Arian. This is our consumer offering. Obviously, I'm a bit biased, aren't I? But it is a fantastic resource of information there. As I said, we cover everything to do with money, from pocket money all the way to pensions. All the information is totally impartial. We've got nothing to sell. It's backed by government as well, so it's all the information there. That's what you would see when you log in. It's all available in Welsh and English, of course, as well. It's all bilingual. So you can see they would go along the different topics within the top, and then you can just use the search bar. So feel free, if you've got a smartphone, that would take you straight into the Money Helper website there. So it's well worth having a look there, and of all the tools and the resources that are available on the Money Helper website there as well. This is just highlighting the full suite of resources that you as an employer or the public can access. It's all free resources. We even provide, speakers at different organisations as well. The pensions offering, we do so many different types of free appointments. A common one, I don't know if it's a more popular one these days, is pensions and divorce appointment. I don't know if you've all been living together with our wives and husbands over the last 3 years since COVID, but the demand for pensions and divorce has gone through the roof. I don't know if there's a correlation there, who knows? But again, you can order free guides, on a wealth of information. A very popular one now. We're working a lot with the DWP and Tata down in Port Talbot and Llanwer and across up in Scunthorpe as well. A lot of redundancies going ahead at the moment. Councils as well within Wales, a lot of redundancies there. So we are dishing out a lot of our redundancy handbook, which are very popular at the moment, unfortunately. But there's information there. We want people to know what does redundancy mean, what information. A lot of them don't even know that the first 30,000 is tax-free, for example, And that comes back with Port Talbot, with a lot of pension scams, pensions mis-selling being done in the past as well. So we're basing ourselves a lot down there. There's going to be a flood of money happening with redundancies in Port Talbot. So we don't want those sharks circulating again. So we're working a lot down there, just informing people, look, this is what to watch out for. So there are a couple of things we've got in development. It's not a static space as well. First thing there is our financial well-being pledge. Now this is something for an organisation, an employer, to show the world what you're doing when it comes to financial well-being, what you're doing for your staff. You can even show yourself, look, we do actually care about you. This is what the plan we've put in place. It's in development. Hopefully by the end of the year, we're working with early adopters at the moment, large organisations, just to iron out kind of any issues that may have. We're going through those at the moment. But you can sign up either as a supporter or a champion under the Financial Wellbeing Pledge. Once you've gone through, it's not a big onerous process. You would get all of the badges. You can show the world what you're doing against your competitors and things like that. We would help you with the strategy of how to develop it. And then you could just as I said, show the world with the different kind of social assets as well, just to show. Because we want organisations to offer this because it would improve generally financial well-being of the UK as a whole. Another thing we've developed is this financial fitness tool. We're talking about financial well-being. It sounds all very aspirational. It's all, good intentions, isn't it, There wasn't a simple way of measuring and quantifying what financial well-being is or what it is. We know we want people to be financially resilient, confident and empowered, as we've said previously. But this financial fitness tool, it's there to measure kind of financial well-being. And organisations can use it, for example, to measure financial well-being across your staff, as an example. It was initially a set of 180 questions, but who's got time to do 180 questions? I'm sure the boffins, as I call them, up in London, all the actuaries up in London came up with this great set of questions. But what they have done, they've brought it down now. They've distilled it from 180 down to these 9 golden questions. Obviously, there's this magic sauce behind the scene as well. But those 9 set of core questions does align to our narrative, financial well-being, and it gives a good breadth of coverage, but it's very short. It's 9 questions. It won't take you long, and it has to be done in a certain order to give people then, once they've done the financial fitness tool, it gives the individual a score out of 100 as to where they are with regards to financial well-being. And it's not meant to be a consumer offering, because we've got other ones. We've got our midlife MOT or the Money Navigator that the public can go on. The financial fitness tool is there for organisations to see, right, what kind of issues does our staff have? Are there any kind of burning issues there? Can we maybe pinpoint? Are a lot of staff, have they got a clue about pensions? Do they need more information there? To a lot of staff, there's a lot of staff struggling with debt. What can we do to pinpoint that? So that's what the financial fitness tool is there for, is to help organisations spot any problems within their kind of organisation. And it's not just, it's just staff or employees. We're seeing universities using it to see what problems are with intakes of students, housing associations. They want to know what problems have their tenants to maybe clamp down on those problems before it gets out of hand, because they want their rent paid, obviously. And what it does, it always feeds back to that Money Helper website, as I said, that free, impartial information backed by government as well. Our big kind of annual campaigns around the corner, it was 2 weeks, is Talk Money Week with Siarad Arian. So this is where we want. It's still a taboo to talk about money for some reason. You know, that people may talk to their colleagues and stuff in work over lunch and stuff like that about general stuff. But we're finding people just don't talk generally about money. We need that to be a normal conversation. And have a look. We've got a great participation pack which gives you more hints and tips of what you can do as an organisation to get people talking about money. The focus this year is just do one thing. You don't want to bombard people with a million different things. You should be doing this, you should be doing, what about that for the future? Just focus on one thing and you'll see a snowball effect as well. So that's well worth having a look. So Talk Money Week this year, first week in November, participation back there. I think the slides will be going out after this too as well. So I'm just one of 13 across the UK. There's 3 country managers. I cover the whole of Wales. Colleagues in Northern Ireland, Scotland. We've also got another 10 covering England as well. So if you've got organisations headquartered anywhere within the UK, you can find all the contact details on the MaPS website there, okay? But I think the last one, this is just my contact details there. So please, as I said, just get in touch with me whenever you want. But happy to take any questions now if you've got any.
Lawrence, I have one. Got the microphone because we're recording the session, so I know you can hear me. But obviously, employers play a key part in I suppose, the retirement vision for their employees. So what 3 tips would you give employers to help encourage their employees to save for their pension, especially given the fact with the decline of defined benefit, defined contribution now, what you get really depends about what you get put in. So what top 3 tips would you give employers to help encourage and educate their staff around pension provision?
I would say, first of all, do they know what does retirement look for them? So get them to plan for the future. You can use we've got a pension calculator on the Money Helper website. You can put your information into this pension calculator. It'll then give you an idea of what you're likely to expect at retirement as an annual income. It brings in the state pension as well. That will shock a lot of people, especially if they're relying on the state pension alone, which was £11,500 for the state pension. We've seen that in retirement, someone to cover the basics of life, maybe a holiday, a weekend away once a year, you need £14,400 every year. Straight away, there's a big gap there, isn't it, between the state pension, which someone thinks, the state will look after me, but no, they need to plan for that future. They need to understand. They may see the rate of the deducting, 6% from my salary. Do they actually understand tax relief? That doesn't cost you 6%. You're getting free money from the government as a member of your workplace pension scheme. The company also has to pay, and they forget about that as well. So that's the key thing, allowing them to plan for the future, letting them know the tax relief. There are perks of paying into a pension scheme. And then I would say, making sure, if they've got, for example, it's more common now to have defined contribution pots, make sure that they do have their pension-wise appointments, so they understand how they can access their money at retirement, what options, the tax consequences of X, Y, and Z. So I would say the pension-wise appointment as well. A bit biased there, but I would say.
Any questions, Lawrence?
More in the way of a comment, really, Lawrence. I found that very interesting, particularly the statistics. Having spent a lifetime trying to explain DB pension schemes to a bemused audience of employees, the statistics actually show very clearly that we've actually got to go, if you like, back to basics, but certainly management of debt and expectations before we can really hopefully think, we'll just come along and discuss what we're offering you on our new CDC.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
That's the key, I know. And that's why we're working a lot with children and young people, because the earlier we can get into them, and it shows by the age of 7, kids have formed their relationship with money. That's a scary thought, 7-year-olds, but that's when they really, they're set for life. And that's why we're leading the way, like I said, with changes to the GCSE structure within Wales. Hopefully that will benefit later on, because they'll understand what APR means, or what does this mean? What have they taken out from my salary there? That's the tax, as we've discussed within maths, So it's that kind of thing for the future as well,
You've talked about the stigma surrounding talking about financial well-being, and say 20 years ago mental health was probably in a similar position, and we've seen a real watershed moment and mental health is on the agenda massively. What would be your tips to starting the conversation around financial well-being, difficult conversations to have with employees, to get the same momentum that mental health achieved, that now it's an open topic for people to talk about?
Yeah, it's just getting it clear, just to break the taboo. Getting people just to start that conversation. That's why Talk Money Week, our theme, just do that one thing, you know. And I would recommend, because as I said, staff won't tell their employers their problems. Often they don't even tell their family if they've got a problem, especially if they've got gambling debts. So it's all hidden away, isn't it? It's on their mind all the time. So it's just giving that information. I would say everyone should know where to go for that debt advice. We've even seen now some organisations, you know, some organisations still give paper pay slips. So they put, you know, for example, on the front, where to go for debt advice. Or do you know what your pay slip means? They give a link to the Money Helper website. We've got a lovely kind of thing about what does your pay slip mean, how to make sense of it. So I would say debt advice as a minimum, because we just don't know the level of issues within the UK. Debt is a huge issue there. That's the key one we've seen, which would prey on someone's mental health as well.